and I see all of the fans here, most notably people in Birmingham who may have not ever had an opportunity to witness this before, stand in respect of these countries and to realize how connected we are and how sports can connect the world. It's going to change our city forever and for the better. And for that, I'm most grateful.
Thank you so much, Nick. Are there any questions from your side?
My name is Vicki Jones with VMH Magazine and Sports. Thank you for your comment, because that is a question that I have. Can everybody hear me? Okay. A question that I have. For some in America and other countries, this is the first time they've visited Birmingham. Birmingham, for those who visited for the first time and those that are returning or have before, the World Games has changed and impacted the history of this city. Period. Unity, people from around the world coming together through sports, unified, and love and peace. And you can feel all that energy. Going forward, how will this impact Birmingham and your follow-up plans for those that are here locally in the city? Because that's a tall order. The history has changed in terms of the vibe.
I'll let my chairman speak to this as well, but that was really the heart of what we were trying to achieve from day one in this partnership with the World Games Association, was to hopefully show the world how far we've come and where we are going. Build the self-confidence in Birmingham of where we can go when we commit to something bigger than our own self-interests. The past does not have to equal the future. And this moment has proven to us what can happen when we come together. I just came from a tree planting press event with many different countries led by the Israeli delegation. One of the comments that I mentioned there was, for this tree to grow, it needs water and light. And that's the same with peace. It's the same with coming together and connecting as a community. It needs constant attention. But when you have the belief and the self-confidence that you can achieve good things when you come together, and you have results like these World Games, I think it's going to put the wind at our back in this community, that our best days are ahead. And that is the true legacy of these games, in my opinion, is what Birmingham is becoming and where we can go, because we're committing to working together. We're respecting our past, we're acknowledging our past, and we're using some of the painful lessons of our past to be better in the future. JP?
Yeah, that was a great question, and thank you for your response, Nick. And as Senior Vice President of Alabama Power, and our company has been focused on economic development, I think. Also, the economic impact to the city and the state is going to be something that will transform the city. Birmingham, in its early stages, I mean, that's how we got the name of Magic City. We grew so quickly overnight. And I think we are reimagining the magic that can happen in Birmingham. And as you mentioned earlier, the history that Birmingham has, and Nick just said it, we definitely want to respect the history of the city, and we're really focused on the trajectory of the city. And I also serve on the board of the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, and some things that we're also looking to do as an organization is how do we transition from just focusing on civil rights to overall human rights, because there are so many things that so many learnings that Birmingham had from the past that we can continue to lead the way globally as it relates to social and economic change and health disparities that exist, the technological divide that still exists in the state of Alabama, and particularly in our black belt areas around the state. So we do believe that the World Games really will help with the trajectory of the state. The feedback that I've received from visitors that have shared with me this is their first time in Birmingham, they were pleasantly surprised. As my good friend Nick said over and over, unfortunately, most folks still see us through the black and white lenses of the 60s, and we want them to see us as this beautiful new mosaic that we are, how colorful, how diverse. And one of the taglines that we have for the World Games is that we were competing globally, but uniting locally. And we've really done that through our visitors, through our emergency personnel. We have emergency personnel as far away as Mobile that have come to help us here in Birmingham. So we really feel that the entire time period that we have worked and planned for the World Games has brought our community closer together. And we know that when all the fans and the athletes and folks leave next week, we have a lot of momentum that we will continue to ride in the future to make Birmingham a bigger and better, progressive and more inclusive city. So we're very, very proud of that.
Thank you.
Joachim?
If you allow me, I would like to add one thing that maybe included in your question, but not everybody directly gets aware of that. We have gained some experience on that. At the end of the day, you will see it will be these little moments, the small stories that will circulate here in the city. A young boy meets an athlete in a situation not on a playing field, but in an elevator. They talk to each other. Years later, it will pay out. How do we measure that? That's all what we believe. We still have contacts to cities back to 2001. People from 2001 are here at these games. All, we have a legacy in our organization since 2005. It's the man on the right side of my ear. He is our living archive on two legs, which I always say. If he doesn't know, nobody knows about that over there. We're in contact with Kaohsiung, Chinese Taipei for 2009. They took their mascot into the weapon of the city. So all these stories happen. And you know, at best at the moment, Birmingham, Alabama is now known in Europe. You know that in a few days, Birmingham in England will start the Commonwealth Games. At the moment, you're in the focus. How does that pay out in the long run? I can't let you know exactly, but definitely it is something for your marketing department, for the development of this city. Because everybody will say, okay, let's put it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks' time and say, wow, the games in Birmingham, the first one that came back as a multi-sports event, they did a great job with top athletes. The rest, I stay back from a comment, but definitely you will shine. Promise.
Thank you, Joachim.